We're back, everyone.
Are you back? Are you okay?
We're back.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm still live. All right. Let's get into this bad boy. So today's video is part 2, as promised, on the SIG 551, the SIG Sauer AG 551 to be proper. We did a video on the stock rifle, and then we said, hey, this rifle, as cool as it is stock, is gonna get pimped out, and we're gonna make it super cool now, and then we're gonna bring a part 2, just kind of a follow-up on what the gun's like, post being decked out, kind of what we did, why we did it, all that kind of stuff. So, hit some recaps here. So this gun came from JDI Imports. We will, I really can't tag them below, guys. It's just the nature of the beast. I can't link firearms companies in the video description, but if you type in JDI Imports, they will pop up. Dave over there, the owner and exclusive importer for SIG, just to kind of take you on a rehash of the history story here, has been the importer for SIG AG products since like 2015, give or take. And he was over last year in the SIG Swiss basement, the actual basement, and he saw a pile of 16-inch 5.56 barrels. If you ever hear 5.5X and you're like, what is 5.5X? That's just the designation for any 5.56 chambered 500 series guns.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those little, like, you have to figure it out.
You gotta know to know.
Yeah. So he's over there and he sees these 16-inch barrels, and he asks SIG, he's like, what's up with these 16-inch barrels? Like, I didn't think this was a thing. Because the 5.51 comes in either like an 18-inch or like a 13.9-inch SWAT variation. And they said, yeah, hey, look, in the 80s, we made some 16-inch barrels to export to America, but then the import-export laws changed, and we couldn't. So he's just sitting here collecting dust for the last 30 years, and we have no intention of doing anything with them. And Dave's like, could we? Like, would you guys do like a batch of like, and he did like 350 of them to import, and they're like, sure, we'll do it. Once these barrels are done, though, they're like, they're done. We're not making these anymore.
That's
like,
cool,
we only
man.
made them for America in the 80s, and then the laws changed. So Dave brings in like 350 of them. I can tell you at the time of making this video, which this number will probably be even less by the time you see the release of this video, the last I messaged him, he had 28 left. So, and for some reason, I feel like people are having a hard time hearing the message, because there's a lot of people with the means that go, man, I'd love to have one of those things. And it's like, are you not hearing the message here? That there's like 28 of these left, and now it's probably more like 15 by the time you guys are seeing this. So again, if you need these, I'm not being paid to sit. This is not a paid promo. I paid for this gun. This gun is bought and paid for. It was very expensive to kit this thing out. But like, that's where to go if you want one of these, okay? And we'll kind of get on my recommendation towards the end of this. But there's that. JDI is where the gun came from. That's the history of the gun. Last quick plug is the ammo, the 5.56.
Yep, US Brass House.
Yep.
Thank you, boys. Our code's 1911, enter. Syndicate, enter. We'll save you $40 off. So yeah. 2 codes, $40 off. US Brass House, we appreciate you guys. Last but not least, Patreon actually really does help us out quite a bit. So
give us your money. Yeah, it keeps us from having to sell O-lights to you guys, you know? So like, if you guys, you know, maybe consider it at some point, helps keep the lights in here. Yeah, sure they are. It says the people paid to tell you that they're good lights. Yeah, if you want a grenade on your gun. So that, if you need real estate help, let us know. 1911 Syndicate Behind the Scenes, if you don't know, is basically like a mill, LE, hunter, shooter, sort of law or fucking real estate company. And this is how we talk to you, even when you're clients. Like, we like to think we get shit done, but we don't have to put on a show to do it. So it's always fascinating when people get mad that we curse. It is, but that's neither here nor there for me. So let's talk about some of the features that are kind of interesting, some of the things that I put on this. This is my gun, for those of you that don't know. So, suppressed. In the first video, people are like, man, you got to put a suppressor on that. It's not how this gun's set up, okay? So the muzzle device is part of the barrel. So this bird cage flash hider looking thing here, one, it's not a bird cage flash hider. It's bird cage-esque. But it's not, and it's integral. It's part of the barrel. Like, it's not threaded on. Yeah, it's not welded on, nothing. It's like, no, it's just part of the steel of the barrel. And because it's not a technical A2 flash hider, and doesn't have these little indexing rings that go around it, there's no way to mount a can to it. Some people have been commenting, and I think you've even brought it up, you're like, dude, just chop and thread that thing, and then throw on whatever can you want. For me, 2 things. One, this feels good like it is. This feels correct to me. This is a gun that is like a battle rifle, and it feels totally awesome without a can on it. I haven't said that in a while, but this is a case of a gun that's very good unsuppressed. Second thing is, man, shit happens. And if you were chopping that thing and threading it and something went wrong and that barrel's shit can now, I don't think you can get another one.
No,
like,
but
your gun's done.
You'd find a gunsmith that could figure it out.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm not running the risk on that. To me, that gun, while some accessories have been added to it, I want to keep it as stock as I can in terms of, you know, how it works and where I can keep it stock, So you guys can let it go. That gun's not getting suppressed. The handguard. So let's talk about this. The factory handguard is actually really cool. It's just basically a clamshell piece of like kind of hard, thick plastic that does a great job of keeping heat away. The problem is you can't mount anything to it. So there's no accessory points where you could attach, whether it be a light or a sling attachment or a foregrip, hand stop, anything like that. So for those of you that don't know, B&T, while we know them mostly for the guns that we have access to from B&T, B&T is a massive parts manufacturer. And B&T makes a shit ton of aftermarket support for companies like HK, FN, SIG AG. And when I was first getting this gun and I saw that B&T had and if you see me twitching over here, guys, for some reason bugs have absolutely decided they're gonna murder me today. So I do look a little like, you know, sorry.
Like you got Bell's palsy?
Yeah, like that one went in between the glasses of my eye.
Some Parkinson's?
So B&T makes a shit ton of aftermarket parts. And because it's B&T, they're really nice parts. So they make a quad rail for the 5.51 that transforms the gun. Like this gun, pre and post quad rail are just mind-blowingly different experiences. One, aesthetically, it goes from looking kind of classic and old school, still functional, but kind of old school, to like
post-apocalyptic war gun.
I wanted that gun in Book of Eli.
Nailed it. Or the Terminator with Christian Bale.
Oh, man.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, when he climbs out of the hole, if he climbed out with this thing, you'd be like, fucking right.
Yeah, and he had that Mark 23. Yep. Like, man, that's the combo. That's the combo right there. That's whoever makes the next Terminator movie. If you can redo that one, just let us know. We'll get you some. We'll get you a gun. You can borrow mine. But the B&T rail, it's $458. It's not cheap. It's frankly about what I would expect to spend on a B&T quad rail.
Correct. That fit and finish is impeccable.
So the fitment is the tightest thing you will ever fit onto a gun. I brought my buddy John over because he knows how to do stuff, and I don't know how to do anything. And I'm like, hey, John, could you help me out? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Could you come over, help me put this rail on? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'm a man. I'll come over and I'll do it. So he comes over, and like, so to get this to index on, you have to get this pin to go through it. There's a little indexing point on this side of the handguard where that pin that you would use to separate the upper and the lower has to go through. To get that pin through, literally, see this? Like we had to put like a soft thing down on the ground and literally beat this thing down to be able to eventually get this pin to go through. That pin ain't going nowhere. That handguard ain't going, it will never come off. That ain't going nowhere. The good news is this will certainly not lose zero if it ever has an IR device or something like that on it. Like
fucking never.
Rock solid, guys. It ain't going nowhere. And in true Swiss fashion, you know, even John, he was saying, he was like, I'm telling you, this thing fits. It's a Swiss gun with a Swiss handguard. Like, they know what they're doing. They just do it to an obsessive micro level on the fitment. So it's really an amazing accessory for that gun. If you happen to get one of these guns, highly recommend pick up the handguards. At this point in time, they're in stock on the B&T Parts website, because once they go out of stock, God knows how long before they come back. So if you happen to either have one of these guns or are getting one, please get the handguard as soon as you humanly can. The light, I went with an Arisaka 18650. I am a giant fan of Arisaka lights. Not a huge fan of Surefire lights. I like mod lights, but it felt too modern for this. The Arisaka has this classic kind of almost old school vibe to it. And yet the output and all the actual tech in it is really, really good. Like, I love the output on the Arisaka lights. So this is not, mind you, their 600 series. This is essentially a dual fuel. I didn't know that they actually made it. It must be a somewhat recent addition to their lineup, because you can run it on two CR123As or one 18650. And the output's really good. They're like 55,000 candela, all that kind of shit, you know. So it's like really, really good output. But to me, like didn't have a bunch of obnoxious badges on it or anything like that. It's just clean, solid build. The Malkoff head's really good. And just have it on a mod light, mod button, Surefire tail cap, right? Nothing notable. Arisaka side mount. And
continue mount.
That is the light. Okay, onto the hand stop. So the hand stop, actually from Arisaka as well. First time I've had one of their hand stops. Quite a fan. So it turns out, man, they got a great hand stop.
Good little hand stop, man.
There's only so many different ways you can redesign a hand stop. Like, it kind of, they are what they are. But it's nice. It's, I don't know if it's aluminum, but it's some sort of metal, and it's good. I'm a fan of it. And I didn't want a vertical foregrip on this. For me, it felt like it was going to be too much. To me, I can't explain why, but to me, a vert foregrip felt like it was going to be too much.
I mean, I run hand stops on almost everything now, so.
I'm back and forth, but for me, this felt like the right move on that. Sling, and then we'll get to optic. So the sling, if you're right-handed, this gun comes with sling attachments for you. One is on the a comment from the first video. A lot of people very offended by the pronunciation of the word diopter. So
diopter.
So guys, I'm not gonna. Can we heart to heart?
Yeah, we're gonna take a pause and have a little heart to heart, gentlemen.
I'm not gonna say diopter.
Diopter.
I'm gonna say diopter, like a goddamn American.
And if you don't fucking like it,
I'm gonna say it louder.
Diopter.
Diopter. Right? And no one can say shit out here, right?
Nope, just on the internet.
So the rear sling attachment is on the diopter site, okay? The front sling attachment is right up here by the gas block. I do not care for the placement of these sling attachments. Because one, what if you're actually running, it's not a QD.
No, I'm saying you could string a sling through the stock also.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. But, so with this, it's like, well, what if I'm actually running the iron sights in this? And now every time I bring my gun up, my QD or my like snap hook is just like coming right up by my feet. To me, it's just clunky. Like you're just clouding my sight picture, man. Like I don't need this as a place for my sling to attach on. If anything, like throw it on the side of the receiver or something like that. I'm a left-handed shooter, and these are welded to the gun, so these are a non-issue anyway. So what I did is went direct attach on the back. I thought about doing what you said, which is run a little piece of paracord here and then clip in. The problem you're gonna have with that is your snap hook's gonna wind up in a very weird place with tension on it. If you think about how that would wind up going, because then it would have to bend around this side, it's gonna get real clunky.
Yep.
So the move for this is direct attach on the rear to the stock, and then on the quad rail, I added from Sly Tactical their snap hook quad or pick rail.
Yep.
Little QD fucking thing that I'm blanking on the name of, sling attach, and I'm running snap hook on the front. So snap hook up front, direct attach on the back. This is their padded sling, so they can, we have, whether it's come out or not, I'm not sure, but a video kind of doing some follow-up on previously reviewed items. We're talking about their slings, but like, you can ask them to do stuff like this and they'll actually do it, which is nice. Them being more of a boutique company, they'll actually do this shit for you. But this is their kind of, you know, great sling design, padded, very, very slick class 1 nylon, all that kind of stuff. We do always have a discount code always in the description because a lot of you guys actually use that discount code to buy slings. So it's just 1911 Syndicate and saves you like 15% off of their whole website, more or less. So there's that. Let's talk about the optic because that's one of the trickier things that you have to figure out with this. So the gun comes purely with the integrated diopter sight, and then the front sight, which is hooded, that you can flip a little tritium bar up here if you wanted to do night shooting. In order to add an optic, you have to add an optic rail. It winds up, it's kind of neat. Now seeing it on and how it actually works, it has a little bar that actually clips in to the rear sight. And then it indexes on this little index point up here on the upper receiver. So you have to add that pick rail, which is a SIG AG product, right? These, the stock, the mags, it's all tough to find, guys. So if you go down this rabbit hole of SIG 55X guns, you just have to know it's probably going to take you some time to actually get your gun kitted out because you're going to have to wait for time to pass for shit to come in stock and you got to be ready to go. But the optic rail index is on. I'm running an Eotech, and an Eotech is a really, really nice fit for this. The cool thing is that because you've got the gun, you got this pick rail here, it basically is acting like a riser.
Yeah.
Because this is already a little bit elevated, and then the Eotech is just on the factory QD mount. So it's not the Eotech that just like direct, like you have to screw into the pick rail. It's got their little QD lever system on it.
It's like a riser
so
almost.
I measured it. It's almost identical to what on an AR would be with an Eotech with a Unity riser. It's almost identical. So if you're looking for like heads up shooting posture, this is perfect. You don't need anything taller than this. You don't want a Unity riser on this.
Have that bitch like up here.
Yeah. So originally I was gonna put a 1:8 on this. I had it. John was over and he's helping me fit shit and we were putting it on. And so the problem is this rear sight. It was in a spur mount. We have a video coming on this Collis 1:8 in the side of the spur mount that it's in. And the very bottom of the the tube was hitting the diopter. And so what was happening was we might have been able to clamp it down, but we probably would have wound up shattering glass because it was just going to get tighter and tighter into this metal that ain't going nowhere, and it probably would have shattered the optic. So the point to that is, one, it didn't seem like it looked particularly right, even when we just kind of mimicked having it on there. It actually didn't feel right, much to my surprise, so the Eotech did feel like a better option. But if you're going to do an LPVO, which is a logical candidate for a full-length gun like this, you're gonna need a tall mount, okay? That's the biggest thing you just got to keep in mind is like, man, on an already fairly tall system because of this pick rail, then you're gonna need a tall optic mount in order to clear the rear sight. So it's like, you're gonna wind up with a really tall optic.
Yeah.
So I don't really think LPVO is the right particular choice for this gun. I think Eotech with like a magnifier or something like that would be super dope. Even a L-can Spectre would be good on that.
Yeah.
An L-can would be great on this.
Yeah.
Because then you get everything.
But the problem you're going to run into is the eye relief.
Damn, good point.
You remember on Spectres, you're going to have to be like this on that bitch.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah.
If you chop this off and put it as far back as you could potentially run it.
Yeah.
But then you're chopping this bitch.
Yeah, it'd be shitty. So yeah, truthfully, it's probably like Eotech magnifier kind of setup, guys.
Or just a red dot magnifier. T2 with magnifier?
Yeah. I think an Eotech actually has the shape that looks good on
Aesthetically, it looks cool.
Yeah. So, that said, I'll just tell you guys this. Occasionally, anyone, we build out a gun and you go, a lot of times you go, I'd maybe change this. I don't feel like spending the extra $400 to swap that out. And occasionally you build something out and you go, I wouldn't change a damn thing on that.
It's done.
I would not change a damn thing on this.
No,
this is
so
perfect.
Cool.
This is in the list of the very few perfect guns I own where I'm like, do not change a damn thing on this. It is perfect. I do not want to touch it in any way whatsoever. Budget, regardless. Right now I got an extra $1,000 I can put in that. I'm not changing a damn thing on it.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I don't want to change anything.
Yeah, I think you built this out real well, and it does change the shooting experience to
softer.
A little bit softer.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Well, it's more weight.
On an already softer gun, well, yes, but you wouldn't think it'd make that much of a difference. It's already a soft shooting gun. With all this kitted out, it's even softer. Aesthetically, it looks cool. I think you did a good job on this gun. The history behind it, all of it. I mean, again, Terminator, dude.
Yeah.
Christian Bale, call us.
And so let me leave you guys with this. There are some of you that are watching this and you're going, man, I'd love to have one of those. It's going to be on my bucket list gun. Hear me out on this, guys, because I have no horse in this race, right? I have nothing to gain from this, which is you got dude watching this and you're like, man, I'd love to get one of those, but I don't really want to drop the money or I don't have the money right now. Do you have $4,000 worth of guns that you could sell right now? Because I guarantee you between, you sell what, 1 or 2 ARs and like that stupid Gucci Glock that you have that no one cares about anymore. And it's like, cool, you got $4,000. Here's the thing, guys. You can replace your AR, your Glock. Almost anything that any of us have, we can replace it at any time, at will, more or less. You might have to wait 6 months, but you could replace it. When the next, I'm gonna use current numbers, 28 of these are gone, you're done. You're not getting them. Like, that's it. Switzerland will not manufacture them again. So it's like, sell the thing that you've got to sell. Do whatever you need to do, like, because you're gonna be pissed that you didn't get one of these. I'm telling you, as someone who, I sold a Nighthawk, guys, just to be candid with you. My gold Nighthawk that some of you know, I had to ditch that thing in order to offset the cost of this because I didn't have 4Gs just laying there that I could just throw at a new gun project. I got too many gun projects. So like I had to sell a Nighthawk. I can replace that Nighthawk. I can order a new Nighthawk. I can't order one of these once they're gone. They're done.
I know.
So it's like, you guys watching this, and you know who you are, who are really thinking about this, I'm telling you, I would not wait, because once they're done, and probably very soon from the time of this video, they're gonna be done. And you're gonna kick yourself if you don't have one. It's food for thought.
Yep.
It's my 2 cents.
Yeah, as someone who should probably sell some shit to pick one of these up, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So, hey, that's my plea to you, and I have nothing to gain from it, right? Yep. So there's that. This is the end of the 5.51 content for a little bit. You might see it in some training drills or something, but that's it. Fantastic gun. I've had an absolute blast with this thing, and it will get used a lot.
Good job on the build, man.
All right. Guys, take care. We will see you soon.